Well, now on BBC One, anything can happen in the next 2 hours as the lights are flashing as we cross over to Studio 7, where Philip and Sarah are going live. First on BBC One, a summary of the latest national and international news at 9 o'clock with Laurie Mayer.
And with the time just after 2:10, Christmas Eve has already given way to Christmas Day, which has begun on Radio 1 in the company of Bob Harris, while Bill Reynolds is keeping the reindeer on a steady course on his night ride on Radio 2. We look forward to having you with us again during Christmas Day, and for the moment, on behalf of all of us here on BBC One, this is Andy Cartledge wishing you a happy Christmas and a very good night.
This is BBC One. It's good looking, don't you think? A very good morning to you and welcome to the Open University. Our first programme is in a couple of minutes.
BBC One, packing up Punch this Sunday evening.
Now to round off this evening, the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow, Sunday. The cloud will become as fresh or strong northeasterly winds become established and rather cool as the temperatures dip to near 9 degrees Celsius in many districts. Sunday will then be a bright and dry day with a good number of sunny intervals. However, it will continue to feel rather cool, especially along the north coast of Gwynedd and Clwyd, in the fresh or strong northeasterly wind. Temperatures will be limited to a chilly 14 degrees Celsius. So in summary, becoming dry tonight, then a rather cool and windy day tomorrow. And that's the forecast. And that brings us to the end of programmes for Saturday night. We'll be back at 7:15 in the morning with the film The Night of the Party, directed by Michael Powell, receiving its first showing on network television. But tonight, thanks for your company. I hope you can join us again at some stage tomorrow. On behalf of BBC Wales, this is Jamie Owen, wishing you a peaceful night. Good night, North Star.
right along to the weather forecast for Wales then. Tonight, all parts of Wales will be dry and mainly clear, with slight frost, and later fog patches will develop. Temperatures will fall to around -2 degrees, and there'll be little or no wind. Tomorrow, any mist will clear readily in the morning, and the rest of the day will be dry with some sunshine at times. The temperature will rise to around 6 degrees, much as today. The wind will become southwesterly and slowly freshen during the day. To recap then, frost overnight, dry with sunny intervals by day. That's the weather forecast for Wales. A shade after midnight. The clock, of course, means we've reached the end of programmes here on BBC One Wales for another night. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what we've had on offer for you this evening, and that you'll join us again at some stage tomorrow. Programmes kick off at 6:30 in the morning with BBC Breakfast News. That's in the morning, though. For tonight, all that remains for me to do is, on behalf of all my colleagues here at BBC Wales in Cardiff, wish you a good and safe night. Sleep well. Nostar.
Well, as the time creeps towards 2 o'clock, it's time for us to bid each other good night and wend our separate ways. Thank you for watching this evening, and do join us again tomorrow, won't you? Well, in 4 hours' time, we'll be opening up again with Business Breakfast at 6 o'clock. But for now, this is Dalini Roberts on behalf of everyone here at BBC Wales on One, wishing you a very good night. Sleep well, cysgwch yn dawel, nos da i chi. Good night.
Here on BBC One, we have news and weather at 7:25, followed by Children's BBC at 7:30. But for now, we've come to the end of our programmes, and so with the time just leaving 17 minutes past 1, this is Gillian McDougall bidding you a very good night from all of us here at BBC Scotland. Good night.
Well, that look at the weather forecast brings us to the end of local broadcasting today here on BBC One Northern Ireland. I do hope you'll make a date to join us again at some stage tomorrow. For now, though, this is Jackie Godfrey wishing you, on behalf of those of us who are still here at Broadcasting House in Belfast, a very peaceful good night. Good night, and do sleep well.
Now on BBC One, your news and views in Look East with Jane Evans and Kim Riley.
This is BBC One for the East Midlands. This is BBC One for the East Midlands.
This is BBC One in the West. And now the news from Points West.
Sunday on One, and a tape. Famous Faces for Friday.
This Saturday, get ready for another awesome...
This winter on BBC One.
Galaxy this Saturday night on BBC One.
New drama on BBC One.
Y'all ready for this? Brand new comedy on BBC One.
Author Jung Chang relives the writing of Wild Swan.
The entertainment superhighway brings you Saturday night on BBC.
Family fun for Saturday takes off with Only Fools and Horses, then at 6:50. Saturday night on BBC One finds 8 more contestants vying for the chance to take the Conveyor Belt Challenge. It's Hello Wednesday on BBC One and Goodbye Television.
Drama, new for 92 on BBC One.
Classic comedy this Tuesday on One with the return of Citizen Smith.
Noel provides addictive viewing this Tuesday evening at 7.
People will laugh at the most peculiar things.
The new season on 1.
Something to sing and dance about this Saturday on BBC One.
Saturday night on BBC One.
You'll love the new flavour of Tuesdays on BBC One.
Saturday night on BBC One. Saturday on BBC. Saturday evening on BBC One.
A very good morning to you and welcome to our programmes on BBC One. But just before we start, on behalf of everyone at BBC Television, we'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas. So now we begin by unwrapping a bumper package of programmes for our younger viewers.
Now on One, to take us through into Christmas Day, we go to Southwark Cathedral for our Christmas Eucharist, introduced by the Bishop of Woolwich, the Right Reverend Peter Hall.
BBC Wales on One now. If you go down to the woods today, careful, because you might be trampled on by Bigfoot.
Now on One, we're about to enter the twilight zone of Gotham City.
Now on One, we join Anne and Nick as they open the final window on the Good Morning Advent calendar.
Well, this is where BBC One hands over to Zoe and Chris for Christmas Eve Children's BBC.
Well, now, it's already a white Christmas in some parts of the country. What about the rest of us? With the details, here's Peter Cockcroft.
This is BBC Scotland on One. And with Christmas only 25 minutes away, we now join the congregation at Northleith Parish Church for our watch night service.
A very happy Christmas to you all, and good morning from BBC One. We begin our Christmas Day with Zoe Ball and Chris Jarvis and Children's BBC.
Now on BBC One, from a secret location deep beneath Television Centre, we join Terry Wogan, who's about to reveal more of those embarrassing moments that some performers would rather forget.
Now on BBC One, if you're expecting peace and goodwill in Chigwell, dream on.
With the new series of Goodnight Sweetheart beginning on New Year's Day, Nicholas Lyndhurst is back now on BBC One, Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea.
And the big day's finally arrived. I hope it's going to be a good one for you, whatever you're doing. We've come to the end of tonight's programmes on BBC One. No time for us to leave you for now. We're back tomorrow night, though. BBC Radio will keep you occupied until then. Mark Tonderais on One now, and Sue McGarry's on Radio 2. From tonight's team on BBC One, though, from me, Jane Constantinis, a very good night, and I hope you have a really wonderful start to Christmas Day. Good night. And the big day's finally arrived. I hope it's going to be a good one for you, whatever you're doing. We've come to the end of tonight's programmes on BBC One. No time for us to leave you for now. We're back tomorrow night, though. BBC Radio will keep you occupied until then. Mark Tonderais on 1 now, and Sue McGarry's on Radio 2. From tonight's team on BBC One, though, from me, Jane Constantinis, a very good night, and I hope you have a really wonderful start to Christmas Day. Good night.
A bumbling detective at work in the first of our stocking fill as here on BBC One, the comic genius of Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau. A bumbling detective at work in the first of our stocking fill as here on BBC One, the comic genius of Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau. Now on BBC One we go live to West Yorkshire for the last in the series of special services for Advent, The Promise of His Glory.
Noel Edmonds picks some favourite moments from his Christmas shows in 15 minutes here on BBC Wales on 1. Before that, the lunchtime news with Jenny Bond. First on BBC Wales on 1, it's the night before Christmas for Tom and Jerry.
Otis is here now with our Christmas Eve children's BBC.
A tough and sometimes violent action movie for Christmas Eve, now on BBC One. Sylvester Stallone is on the edge in Cliffhanger. Well, still with one foot in the weather studio, even at this hour of the morning, now on BBC One, David Brain.
A screen classic before that on BBC One with Dustin Hoffman, Anne Bancroft and the sound of Simon and Garfunkel in The Graduate. A screen classic before that on BBC One with Dustin Hoffman, Anne Bancroft and the sound of Simon and Garfunkel in The Graduate.
Unlikely heroes for BBC One now in the video game turned action movie. Tackling scary evil forces, the plumbers extraordinaire, Super Mario Brothers.
Now on BBC Two, fully clothed in a mantle of probing curiosity and thoughtful scepticism, Clive James welcomes tonight's guest for interview.
An invitation now to enjoy more exciting rhythms of the world as Spain meets Mali meets Battersea in Songhai.
So, who's got that something special worth a small fortune? We'll find out. Flog it at 5. First on BBC Two for Cagney and Lacey, things are about to get personal.
Good morning and welcome to BBC Two. In a quarter of an hour we'll have a roundup of yesterday's parliamentary business at Westminster. First we join Laurie Mayer and Jill Dando for BBC Breakfast News. Now on to comedy of the highest order with Stan and Ollie about to get themselves in another fine mess.
Going Home, now on BBC Two, REM are on tour and on stage in Atlanta, Georgia.
This is BBC Two. Now, lock the door.
Here on Two now, we prepare to enjoy Stephen Sondheim's Pulitzer Prize-winning musical, inspired by the life of the 19th century painter Seurat. Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters recreate their original Broadway roles and spend Sunday in the park with George.
The Cry of Christmas from the innovative hand of composer John Tavener, now on BBC Two, as the climax to our Advent season of music videos, a new performance of his work, God is With Us.
A very good morning to you and welcome to Christmas Eve here on BBC Two.
Now on BBC Two, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing, according to Tony Bennett.
Now on to, we continue our season of films made in Japan, with a true story of the conflict between honour and loyalty in 16th century feudal Japan. Rikyu.
First, Anthony Minghella's imagery and Carolyn Choi's dance, On the Seashore. To continue the War and Peace season now on to a different aspect on experience of war, the choice of the conscientious objector.
And now welcome to the Open University for this Tuesday night here on BBC Two. Our programme's part of the second level Social Sciences course, Introduction to Psychology, and it's called Eyewitness Memory. It looks at methods used by psychologists to help the police in obtaining information from witnesses of crime.
And now on BBC 2 o'clock. As you can see, it's 2 o'clock and we're well into Christmas Day. Yippee! Well, it's time for us to go home now, but if you're interested in staying up a little longer, there's about half an hour's worth of Arsenic and Old Lace on BBC 1. Alternatively, on BBC Radio, John Terrett's on Radio 2 with The Night Ride. And on Radio 1, it's Whispering Bob Harris. Well, I'm going to give my somewhat croakier voice a rest in a moment, but before I go, don't forget to have a good time. If you're travelling tomorrow, take it easy. But most of all, have a very Merry Christmas. And so from everybody on BBC Two tonight, that's Peter, Marge, Bronwyn, Mary and me, Michaela. Thanks for being with us and have a very pleasant night. Good night.
Rain or shine, you can always depend on the weather as a good conversation opener. Now on BBC Two, we begin a whole evening dedicated to that great British preoccupation. An exclusive world premiere on BBC Two now, with the concert recorded earlier this evening. Mike Oldfield performs Tubular Bells 2 from Edinburgh Castle.
And talking Rembrandt, now on to another personal view of one of his best-known works.
But first, hot breath and cold print. Tall, dark, handsome strangers, petite blonde heroines and prolific writers reveal the secrets behind a successful Mills and Boon romance.
This is BBC Two, born again for birth night.
Go back to 1966 for the first episode of that legendary drama series, Adam Adamant Lives.
having reached the big 3-0, it's only fitting that one of BBC Two's first controllers, David Attenborough, looks back at the last 3 decades to see how his baby has grown.
You're watching BBC Two. Night School TV continues with personal, health and social education with 3 new programmes on interpersonal skills in the office from Skillbank. There's also 4 short case studies of young people in a variety of jobs talking about their attitudes and aspirations in Job Bank.
As the spectacular impacts of the Shoemaker-Levy comet continue, BBC Two presents a series of short animations over the next 5 nights, each telling part of the story behind the collision with Jupiter. Tonight's explores how the comet was formed.
In search of bright lights in a big city, only to discover violence and corruption, Alain Delon stars in Luchino Visconti's epic family saga, Rocco and his brothers.
A late finish at Wimbledon means that BBC Two is running late. So now, concluding our weekend on Mars, a tense thriller with an all-star cast playing their part in the conspiracy which stunned the world.